And welcome back to Mixed Media Live on another Monday night, Monday at 9:30 p.m. Still feels a little bit strange, but I do like it personally better. So if you like it also and you enjoy this time, let us know in the chat. I'd love to see a lot of people filter in because today's going to be an exciting episode for the next few hours where we're going to share our thoughts on all things media, gaming, music, movies, in this case, another M, metaverse. So what we do here on the podcast is talk about those things. And I guess that it'll be more efficient if we just introduce ourselves real quick. So my name is Irving Nestor. I'm a filmmaker and a media entrepreneur. I own a company called Ariella. Oh, wrong way. There we go.
Hi, I'm Ben Costello. I'm a flute player and a media composer.
Hey, I'm Nathan Nestor. I'm a 3D modeler and a game developer.
Yeah, and basically what we do is we talk about our individual topics, and at the front we talk about the news. But before we do that, how were your guys' weeks?
My week was pretty busy, pretty eventful. I went on a little music exploration, found some new artists, which was cool. Watched the movie I mentioned in the Discord called Shoplifters. I watched it twice in 2 days. The first time I watched it, I went in expecting literally nothing because it's for a school assignment. It's for a class called World Cultural Regions. So essentially, get a list of films we can choose to watch from various different regions of the world. They're like American movies. I was like, that's boring. So I have an excuse to watch those anytime I want to. So, this is a interesting time when I'm recommended foreign films that I wouldn't be recommended normally. That being said, I got the movie for free through the school. School uses a service called Canopy, and essentially you can just watch a bunch of movies for free that the school pays for or whatever. So given that they were free, I didn't really expect much. I was like, oh, okay, these are probably like kind of mild in nature, maybe just all right. But no, it was actually really good, to the point where I watched it twice. The film was Japanese. I watched it because I was looking at the list and like most of these just seem like unsavory based on the title. But I don't know. I guess I shouldn't judge by a title. But then I eventually chose to watch it. Pretty good. Would recommend. I think I'll probably rant about it in the Discord at some point. But I think it's more of a something that hits me personally. Like I would definitely understand if someone watched it and was like, it's like just good, nothing crazy about it. Yeah, that's been my week.
Canopy is a great service if you, I've talked about it before. Unfortunately, like my university doesn't pay for all of it, including I think only 140 movies out of the entirety of Canopy that I can watch for free, which means, some great stuff, like a lot of great Kurosawa, which I have explored a lot this year so far, but not all the stuff that I want to see that I know is on there. So my week, I don't know, it's been pretty busy with class, but a little bit more interaction last few days with like other actual students on campus. Today was the first day of on campus classes. We've had on campus ensembles, so it's good. Hopefully I can meet some more people. I've also I volunteered for this kind of ensemble that is people who are thinking about like actual recording careers and doing that kind of stuff on campus. So hopefully I can meet some more people who are media composers and people involved who want to be involved with media recording.
That's cool. Yeah, I guess I did have the most eventful week. Biggest news for me is I started shoot. I talked about last episode that I'm returning to YouTube, and I started shooting all the stuff for it. Got my first 4 video plans I planned. I'm super excited to finally have the time. Took a lot of time to like carve one layer at a time, back my life basically, and be able to do that. So that's pretty cool. And let's see. I'm going to be hopefully starting to watch a whole bunch of Oscar nominated films this week. So there's that.
Yeah, I definitely want to see Don't Look Up and Power of the Dog, because I've heard good things about the scores for both of those.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that kind of segues perfectly into the news for the week. So for me, I'll start with just listing off the Oscar nominations. For I think I'm just going to do Best Picture, and then maybe for Ben's sake, I'll read the Best Soundtrack one. So here it is for 2022. Best Picture nominees are Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story. So if I once I sort of get a handle on all these films, what they're about, I almost certainly will not be able to watch them all. But once I get an idea of what each of them is about, I probably can make a reasonably good prediction of like what two films are really in the contending for the actual Best Picture award. Stay tuned for that because I like making my predictions. And yeah, that's it for the Oscars for Best Picture. Let's see if I can, and you could just look up this list, but this is just to put you on notice that the nominees are out. So for original score, we've got Don't Look Up, Dune, Encanto, Parallel Mothers, and The Power of the Dog. I've never heard of Parallel Mothers before.
I haven't either, and nor have I heard about it even in like the context of the music. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I'm hoping to catch a few documentaries this time around as well. We'll see how much time I have. And so, yeah, that's it for the Oscars. Now, for general news, let's see what I've got here. So, I've been, always keeping in touch with the Alec Baldwin situation because for whatever reason, there's always news every week about it, which is kind of incredible considering how far out we are from the event. But the on-site medic, who's a nurse, is now suing pretty much everyone in the production except Alec Baldwin for trauma and pain and suffering with regards to the shooting, which it's kind of a ridiculous lawsuit. It's almost certainly a frivolous lawsuit, but she saw the money pot and she's going after it. I'm not sure what the no Baldwin situation is about in terms of suing everyone but him, considering he's the one who actually pulls the trigger. It kind of seems to make sense. To add him into the mix of people to sue, but I don't know. That's not to say that she doesn't actually feel any trauma. It's just more to say when you look at the actual case itself and you read out the facts, it doesn't really look like she's going to win her claim, as it again reads more like a gossip sort of entry rather than a proper lawsuit that proves that she deserves compensation, especially given that she is in fact a medic. It kind of comes with the job is what the easy argument is gonna be. Pretty much everyone else could make this argument except for her, at least on the face of it. So we'll see what happens with that. And the other thing is sort of an advertisement for the segment I'm about to do. This is news about NFTs, which we're definitely gonna have to do a roundtable NFTs again. But I just want to read this headline just because I feel like it exemplifies everything I'm about to talk about. The headline, this is from I have no idea what this news agency is. It looks like a local news network, actually. Yeah, it's some local news network. Headline is, Samsara Luggage enters the metaverse with first NFT that will debut on Desperate Ape Wives. just when I say what Desperate Ape Wives refers to is an NFT project. A series of apes that are, I guess, supposed to riff on Desperate Housewives, but they're apes. So that's interesting, but I'm sure Samsara is looking to make a quick buck on this project. But there's many such headlines. There's 1,000,000,001 people getting into the NFT space, from musicians, artists, you name it. So yeah, that's my news for the week.
Yeah, so the big thing in film music, I know a couple of weeks ago we were talking about it. I think Bruce Springsteen, Bob Dylan, having sold the rights to their music, which that on a global scale, that's more significant than this. But in terms of the film music community, just this past week, it was announced that Multimedia Music, which is a new corporation, which just raised $100 million to do this exact thing, struck a deal with James Newton Howard to acquire the rights to all of his film music. Now, we can get into that in a second. And this is definitely going to be a future show for a lot of reasons. This is really, really fascinating for a whole bunch of legal reasons. And so, but in short, a lot of the details are not been disclosed. Obviously, they didn't spend all 100 million acquiring the rights to just his music. They want to do this for other composers. But this is a huge deal in the film composition world, and everyone is like, "Oh my goodness, do we have to follow, him now? And should we all be trying to do this?" So I'm sure the similar discussions are kind of happening with big, popular artists like Bob Dylan when they did this. But this is a new phenomenon in the film music world. So and I'm much more in touch with that. So I know that this is a really big topic this week. So that's pretty significant.
What was the company called?
I think it's called Multimedia Music.
Like an evil sounding like name. I don't know. It's like generic. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like just like big music company.
Yes. And I know we've been doing a lot of news about Spotify recently, but apparently this week Spotify is allegedly going to finalize a deal, a $320 million deal with FC Barcelona to acquire the rights to rename their stadium and also have on-jersey advertising for Spotify. So
nice.
That's yeah. So Spotify continues making headlines even amidst controversy. We can't pay our artists, but we can spend $320 million on a deal with FC Barcelona. So yeah. Those are some of the big music news items of the week.
So for one, Amazon Games released another game which is fairly fast. It's another MMO, which is very odd because, they're now in competing spaces with themselves. I don't really get it. The game is called Lost Ark. As I said before, it's an MMO. Now, Lost Ark is currently the most played game on Steam at the moment, and it broke a record. It almost broke the record for most concurrent players ever on Steam. It got number 2 a little bit after launch. PUBG still holds the title at 3.2 million. Lost Ark is at 1.3, so it's a drop, but it's still a very significant number. CS:GO trails behind it by about 20,000. So it lost its spot in top 2, and Dota 2 is pushed down to out of the top 3 for most concurrent games ever. I don't really know what the big deal is. I don't really know. I was about to say maybe it's it's a modern take on MMOs. We don't have to play World of Warcraft anymore, or like the meme other MMOs like Arcade that people just don't like all too much. But then they made that other MMO before, and that didn't seem to take off nearly as much. Although it had popularity at the start. I predict people are going to play it now, and I'll just die. Well, not die. I'll say. Rapid decline in players. So, as I said before, all-time peak was 1.3 million, and currently we're at about half of that player base is currently playing the game at this moment. It's still a lot, 700,000. So currently the most played Steam game at the moment. But certain to decline. I'm not sure if the game is free or not. It might be free. That might be why it's so popular. Let's see. Yeah, it's free. That explains it. The other MMO Amazon games released was not free. I believe it might have been. I can't remember if you bought it outright or subscription based. I can't remember, but it certainly was not free. I think you could buy it. I don't think it was subscription based. Aside from that, there's a game called Martha is Dead that was going to release on console on February 24th, and they recently announced that they'll have to change up the content. They're being somewhat censored by PlayStation because it can seemingly, I'm not entirely sure. This is what some Twitter person says. I don't know if this is definitive, right? But seemingly there is a scene that is too graphic for PlayStation. And that being said, this scene is on Twitter, so you can watch it there if you want. I mean, I'll say it's not gory, but what is being okay, I can see it being pretty disturbing if it was realistically portrayed. I won't explain it. But okay, is it that bad in the grand scheme of video game violence? Not really. Is the concept of what you're doing pretty bad? Yeah, I guess it's pretty disturbing. So, but on Xbox and PC, technically not unregulated if you're releasing on Steam, but I guess more unregulated. So PC and Xbox are still allowing the game to. I shouldn't say PC. The Steam store, whatever store they're using, is allowing the game to release whatever current content it has, but it's just PlayStation that is presumably removing that scene or something. Aside from that, Ben mentioned before that in the Discord that the original Halo composers are suing Microsoft. I don't know anything about this. I have not read into this article. I have it open. I just haven't read it yet. It's just been open.
That's another. See, that's why we're gonna have to talk about like rights. A composer has. But it sounds like a pretty clear. To me, at least, sounds like a pretty clear-cut case that Microsoft is not paying these composers the correct amount.
It's so odd because, like, I don't know, man. It's like just pay them. I really.
Well, so it's the same move that Disney made, and I don't know what the legal status of this. We must have talked about this like one of our very first shows with some of the writers of the EU for Star Wars. That when Disney bought the Lucasfilm, the claim is that Disney said that because we bought you, we don't have to we're not obligated to pay the royalties that Lucasfilm was paying you legally, at least as they present it. That doesn't work, but I'm not actually sure what what has happened with that in the courts. But this is a very similar thing. They wrote the music for Halo, and before Halo was released, the company was bought by Microsoft, and Microsoft says, wait, so we don't have to we don't have an agreement with you, so we didn't inherit the legal obligation to pay you your royalties, basically.
Yeah. It's crazy how much penny pinching happens with these massive entities.
They just go and buy Bethesda, and it's like, oh, no big deal.
Exactly. It's pretty crazy. Which is a perfect segue into another massive company that has been making a splash. And if you want to hear about that, you've got to check out the episode that is going to come out after this one about the metaverse.